Hey everybody, welcome back to Hannah L. Clark's Writing Gems. For those of you who are just joining us, this is the second part of a two-part segment of the Writing Gems for storytelling tools. Writing Gem number 8 is the first half. This is Writing Gem number 9, which is the second half, and I'm just going to finish up covering a few more of these writing tools that I've learned about through the last 8 years. So anyway, last time I left off on tripling, and just real quick, a refresher, storytelling tools for me are really important because they really support my personal philosophy that anybody can learn how to be a writer. I used to think it was this magical gift that was given to some people and not to others, but as I've taken my own journey, I've realized that that's not true. Anybody can learn how to be a writer as long as they're willing to work at it and study it and practice it over and over and over again. It took me 8 years. I hope it doesn't take you that long, but at the same time I don't regret any of that time that I spent, because it's none of it was a waste. All of it, I learned so much with each year that I have been pursuing this journey. So, and the really awesome thing is it's paid off. I finally got a publisher in last October, and it's my book Kabogoth that I self-published 2 years ago was picked up by this publisher and is going to be re-released after having been really heavily revised. It's like 50 pages longer revised as Uncovering Kabogoth, and I'm really happy with it and so excited to share it with you guys. But it's just kind of my own kind of success story of never give up on your dream. If this is your dream, pursue it and pursue it and pursue it until you achieve it, because you can. And it's all about how much you believe in it and how much you believe in yourself. And you're gonna be able to believe in yourself more and more and more as you continue learning and working on these things and honing your craft, because you will improve. So that is my pep talk for today. Anyway, on to writing gems, or storytelling tools. So I left off on tripling last time, and today I want to start off by talking about time bombs. Now, time bombs are a pretty simple tool to use in your writing. All a time bomb is it's just putting a time limit on your protagonist's quest. Whatever they're trying to accomplish, whatever whatever journey is taking them to the climax, you just want to put a time bomb on that. And what the time bomb does is just a time limit on them accomplishing it. And an example of that is, for example, in a romance novel, like a Regency romance novel, it would be your protagonist, who is 17 and a half or 17 and 3/4, has to get married by the time she turns 18 or she loses her entire inheritance. So that's a time bomb. And so that creates a lot of conflict, a bunch of different, a lot of tension, and all kinds of different scenarios that really kind of beef up your story and make it a much more fun ride, and also a much more enjoyable ride for your reader, because of course we always invest when the stakes are high, right? So time bombs are awesome. You can use them cross genres, in any genre, and they really help with conflict and tension. The next one is called a crucible. And the definition of a crucible is it's something for melting things at super high heat. And so there's three different kinds of crucibles I'm going to talk about. There's the Crucible of Place, and what that is when you stick a bunch of people that don't like each other into a place and they can't leave. And what that does is it creates all kinds of different conflicts for your characters and your stories, and suspense and tension and all kinds of stuff. So that's a really good one to use. The next one is a romance crucible, and that one is when you take your two love interests who at the beginning hate each other and put them, like strand them on an island or in a cabin somewhere or something like that, where they cannot leave, and over the course of your story they learn to love each other. So that's another way of using a crucible. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is the crucible of a relationship. And what this is can be in any kind of relationship: a religious relationship, a family relationship, work relationship, romantic relationship again. And what it is it's your protagonist is stuck in a relationship that they want out of, but they can't get out of it. They can't figure out a way to get out of it. And what that really does is, on top of creating tension and suspense and conflict, it also allows your character to grow. Because, of course, throughout the process of your story, you want your character to be able to figure out a way to get out of that crucible, that relationship crucible. And, of course, they need to grow in order to do that. So that's a really great tool for creating growth. The next one I want to talk about is called the reveal. And what the reveal is when your protagonist discovers that he or she has been betrayed, and then they have to deal with that. What that does is like the relationship crucible, it creates an opportunity for growth with your main character, and or any of your characters. This can happen with your secondary characters as well. A really good example of that is in Frozen, Disney's Frozen, with Anna, Princess Anna, and Hans when she returns back, and she's like dying, and Hans totally betrays her. And what that does for her character is it requires her to grow, and she not only figures out what real love is, but she also has the courage to save her sister. And that is a major growth from where she started out in the very beginning. So that's a really good tool. The next and final tool that I wanted to talk about today are twists. And there's a couple of different, or actually 3 different ones that I wanted to cover. The first one are plot twists, and all that is when you're writing your story, and you make it seem like you're taking the plot in one direction, and then you flip it on its head. And of course, you got to be careful with this, because once you do flip it on its head, it has to be convincing enough that by the clues that you place up to that point, so that your reader can get to that plot twist and be like, oh my goodness, and look back and see how you set it up. They just didn't realize you set it up because you were purposely leading them in another direction. Those are super cool. I'm the kind of reader where I like to be tricked. Not to the point of where I feel betrayed, but tricked as in I couldn't see it coming. I like that kind of stuff. That's exciting for me. The next one are emotional twists. And what this is, they use this a lot in horror. And it's when two people, it's when your reader, you take your reader on this horrific journey, and you're constantly giving them horrific, and then all of a sudden you put in humor. And what that humor does is it diffuses the horror and prepares your reader to be able to handle more horror as the story progresses. So putting in those contrasting emotions really helps diffuse it enough so that your reader gets a break, and then you're able to build them up with more of the emotion that you want to emphasize. So emotional twists are great. And then finally, intellectual twists. And I don't really exactly know how to explain this one, but I do know that the movie Inception is like a perfect example of it, of how you're kind of blowing your reader's mind anyway, and then there's like another twist in the plot, this other whole level of intellectual mind-blowingness that's happening, and that is really well done in Inception. With the layers of dreams is amazing, but then how the main character's wife is kind of taking over these dreams and ends up being the bad guy in a lot of ways. So that's a really good example of an intellectual twist. Anyway, those are the rest of my writing tools that I have for now, and I hope they are as helpful to you as they've been to me. I'm still working on a lot of them. I by no means have all of them, or probably any of them, mastered, which is the great thing about writing, is you can always grow. I hope they help you. Next time, writing gem number 10, I'm going to be covering my editing process. Now again, all of these gems that I've given the last 8, right? This is 9. They are really subjective information, and while a lot of it is true, you know, it's still my own interpretation. I do these kind of things in a way that works for me, and what my hope is that you will take this information and figure out a way to make it work for you in your own way, with your own learning style and writing style, and that they become really valuable to you. So please don't take my way of doing things as gospel, because that's not what I'm trying to say at all. It's I'm just trying to communicate the information and give you an example, and then you can do what you want to with it to make it work for you. So that is my goal, and I hope that I'm accomplishing it. So thank you so much for stopping by. Look for my book in May, Uncovering Kabbal Goth, and we will see you guys all next time. Bye!